What's up, guys? It's your boy Bernie here along with Pete.
Hey!
And today we got a little bit of Fusion Corp wrestling news and rumors, bringing you the latest in wrestling news around the world.
I don't know what that was.
I don't know why you
got excited.
I don't know if you're trying to do the Nakamura, like the good vibrations.
I don't know what I was doing, to be honest, but let's write it off as Nakamura impression.
All right, let's write it off. All right, let's get right into it, guys. So first thing we got is WWE has learned that Chris Jericho's Wrestle Kingdom match against Kenny Omega was, I guess they found out at the same time as everyone else did, according to WrestleZone. So if you guys don't know, or if you've been living under a rock, Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho are going to have a match at Wrestle Kingdom after Chris Jericho challenged him through a video package promo.
Yes. Match of the year incoming.
Match of the year incoming, you think so?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we had Kenny Omega Okada this year.
Yeah, but I think Naito's this year.
Naito is this year too. So we could have some match of the year contenders coming up. This could honestly be a contender because Chris Jericho can work his ass off.
Right.
So we'll see. Just from a storytelling perspective, though, there's no way this match doesn't absolutely kill.
Exactly.
It's going to rule. These two dudes can sell the shit out of anything. Kenny Omega might be the best. Chris Jericho is one of the all-time greats of it.
Right.
So I cannot wait. I can't wait.
So after we found out this news that I just said, though, what do you think of the relationship between WWE and Chris Jericho?
I think it strains the relationship with Chris Jericho. We might not ever see Chris Jericho back. Maybe. We'll see. It could be a little bit more time until we see it. But I think, and we talked about this a little bit ago, I think they're going to see how big of a draw this match is with Chris Jericho, and it's going to increase their desire to get Kenny Omega. That would be my call. Mm-hmm. I think they probably already really want him. He's the biggest name outside of the WWE. And to be honest, he's bigger than a lot of WWE stars, than the majority of them.
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they see how big this match is going to be, and they just come running for Kenny.
Yeah, that's the thing that I wish. Well, the thing I always say is that I only want Kenny Omega in the WWE if they're going to book him the right way. Because, we've seen time and time again from NXT going to the main roster, or even just some people going straight to the main roster, like Mike Kanellis. Mm-hmm. These guys, they don't get booked properly, so they look like jobbers and they look like losers, just so they can build up the WWE grown guys, such as Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns. Yeah. And, I can't even think of anyone else, really, that... basically those guys, because, it's Roman Reigns. And just think about this before we continue on talking. Wrestle Kingdom is going to have Kenny versus Jericho. Meanwhile, WWE, for their main event, main scene at WrestleMania, is supposedly Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, Jinder Mahal versus John Cena.
Nightmarish. Compare that to Kenny and Chris Jericho. Are you kidding me? Who wants to see those more than that match? I think WWE is going to see that, because I think Wrestle Kingdom's numbers are going to be insanity. Mm-hmm. They're catching WWE. They really are.
Exactly. And don't think of this, especially this helps New Japan a lot too, because I know they established the United States Championship and they're, marketing and going towards the United States in terms of the, wrestling there permanently. Yeah. Or at least having a dojo there. And this solidifies it by having Jericho there, because then they can get those American audience, or the people that are, Jericho fans but aren't New Japan fans. They'll get them to subscribe to the network, and then they'll come to America so they can start implementing their wrestling here. So, in the end, I guess maybe it's a good thing for WWE in the sense of it finally creates some competition to where now they have to stop this lazy-ass booking that they're doing with trick or street fights from last week. I know the audio was bad on that one, and I apologize, guys. But, no more trick or street fights. It's time to bring out the big guns and bring out matches such as the Samoa Joe and Finn Balor match that we got last night on Monday Night Raw, and bring it to where every match is like that on a Raw. I'm not saying every Raw has to be perfect. None are. But I'm expecting better book storylines and storylines that make sense, and building up stuff than this just trick or street fight, bury people, random 50-50 booking.
The thing, like, going back to, you mentioned if WWE got Kenny, I would want them, like, and they would never do this. I know that. But just, like, let him have creative control over himself. If they let him just do his thing, like, let's say Vince is gone, and Triple H is, like, calling for Kenny Omega. He's like, we want you to be the man, you know? They work together, but Kenny kind of gets to dictate what his character is up to. Kenny's not afraid to lose.
Right.
You know, he doesn't care about losing because he can get way over in a big loss. So it doesn't matter if you let him lose to Roman Reigns necessarily, or lose to Braun Strowman, or even Brock Lesnar. Just let him be his own character. If you did that, bring him in. I want it.
Right.
I want it. I just want him to be his character, be Kenny Omega. He's honestly, other than Okada, they really are the two best. Okada more so for the in-ring and his character, the way he portrays himself. Mind you, I don't speak Japanese, but still I do, there's some subtitles here and there. But Kenny Omega is just the complete package. He's got it all. He can out-promo anybody in the WWE right now. Other than maybe Kevin Owens, it would be pretty close between the two of them.
All right.
And Chris Jericho can talk his ass off. So this match is going to be incredible. It's better than anything WrestleMania is going to have. Unless they let us have Shinsuke and AJ Styles, which there's always a chance that we get that. Maybe they change their minds and let that happen. Mm-hmm. Then there's a chance we have it, But I don't think anything's going to top Kenny and Chris Jericho. It's really is genius.
Yeah, I mean, just the thing. I mean, Kenny Omega is a great wrestler. I know a lot of people, especially WWE casuals, they like to just say they're spot monkeys in terms of just, doing these spots.
Yeah.
But he's more than that, and I know and understand that maybe they don't present the storyline the right way, but it's there. It's easy storytelling. It's simple, and it just makes sense.
Well, yeah, and let's just use Kenny Omega, right? You can criticize him all day for being a spot junkie, spot monkey, whatever you want to call him, right? All he does is big spot after big spot after big spot. Take a Jinder match or a Brock Lesnar match. You're telling me you wouldn't rather watch a spot fest of a match compared to those boring snooze fests? Are you kidding me? Mm-hmm. I'd rather watch Kenny go out there and eat every finisher on the entire roster than watch a Jinder match where he's just snoozing everyone in the crowd. I don't want to see it. Or Brock Lesnar for that matter.
Yeah.
Boring.
And I think maybe, I don't know if this is like a controversial statement, but...
Say it. Spit it out.
Excuse me as I burp. I'm done with Brock. I think Brock is the most overrated guy. I don't like the way that WWE has positioned themselves with him in terms of putting the WWE Universal title on hostage on Brock Lesnar, because it kind of slows down the momentum of everybody. And I think the title, especially because if you think about this, when you watch Raw, when you've watched it for all the weeks, what titles have been elevated to the point where it's like a title that everyone must get? What storylines are created so that people are challenging for The Miz? And how is The Miz being booked? And if you look at all of that, it's shit. It's utter shit. Those guys, Miz has not been booked right. No. The people are not challenging for the IC title or anything like that. The Universal Championships, like I said, being being held by Brock Lesnar in some castle. Yeah. And I'm just sick of it because you didn't do anything to elevate the other titles, and I don't like that because basically titles are the easiest way to tell a story.
Yeah. And
you just don't do it. And the thing also is that The Miz, although he has a Hall of Fame mouth, his wrestling ability is not there, and the way that you've been booking him, he's been looking like an utter joke as a champion. It makes no sense to me why things are getting booked this way, and it's just frustrating, and people are just going to say, you know what, just watch the program. Just watch it for what it is. Well, you can't because it's not very good. And a lot of people have expressed that, but people today in 2017, they just think that critiquing something and offering your opinion of it is hate. You're a hater.
Yeah. There's a difference between being okay with what you're getting and being complacent with garbage. And that's the current landscape of the WWE. Excuse me, I have hiccups right now. I don't know how that happened. It's just all the hate and anger inside my chest.
Boo!
It didn't work.
Damn it.
It's all bubbled up, and I have the hiccups because of my anger. But the numbers that this Kenny Omega Chris Jericho match is really gonna start turning heads at the WWE, even though their heads should already have been turned. But I think this is going to be a big one for them.
Right.
Because this is going to be much bigger than anything we've seen outside of the WWE. Mm-hmm. As far as popularity and mainstream appeal is concerned, this is going to get a lot of eyes. And I hope it crushes WWE when it happens.
I mean, I do too, because I think, in fact, in terms of a businessman, I want competition because I want to keep improving my product and improving everything. I mean, look at what Kenny said here. He said, talking about WWE in his press conference, WWE in general, you can quote me on this, I don't care. Everyone there is below me. No one can put together a performance like me from there. Anyone is copying me. I'm the trend right now. I don't need to search anyone as an opponent. I don't need to feel the need to take on anyone from there to prove anything.
He absolutely doesn't.
And he doesn't.
Look at Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho is a legend of the WWE in wrestling in general. He might be one of the top 15 most popular wrestlers of all time. He's going out of his way. He's going to Japan to wrestle this guy. That says so much. Excuse me for the hiccups. My anger. He's so big outside of the WWE. You have legends coming to him. He's right. He's shooting. You know, It's a work for sure. He doesn't literally mean that. He's not talking that much garbage to be serious. You know, he respects Shinsuke Nakamura, AJ Styles, all those dudes. But what he's saying isn't that far from the truth. Chris Jericho doesn't need to wrestle him. He wants to wrestle Kenny Omega.
Exactly. I mean, it's just about those things, man.
Drop the mic.
I mean, drop it. Drop it.
Here, wait.
20 times.
We're still rolling. I'm getting up. That bit was a little too long, but we're keeping it in.
I'll edit it. But anyway, just talking about this, guys. Kenny Omega, of course, major talent. Chris Jericho wants to fight the major talent, see what all the hubbubaloo's about with...
What's that word?
Hubbubaloo?
Hubbubaloo. I've never heard that. I like it, though.
Yeah, just what's the... Like, is he the shit? Is basically what it is. And he is. And Jericho will find out, and it's going to be crazy to see because, you know, Jericho's not going to go down to, like, WWE level. He's going to be going to the same level as Kenny Omega in terms of working. So it'll be very fun to see Chris Jericho finally putting in the offense that we remember from him. Maybe he'll be doing spots that we haven't even seen before in a long time.
I want to see a Lion Salt.
Lion Salt will be good.
He's got to throw one out, right?
I think he will.
I will be very interested to see if Chris Jericho can keep up with Kenny Omega.
I think he can.
I think Kenny is going to have to slow down a little bit.
I don't think he's going to slow down that much.
He can't do the stuff he did with Okada that he's going to do with Chris Jericho.
Well, obviously, I'm sure they're going to make it a little bit safer because, I mean, Jericho is almost 50.
I know, but my point is, like...
No.
Imagine the dudes in their primes wrestling.
That'd be
insanity.
Long-haired
Chris Jericho. Excuse my hiccups.
Hip-ups.
Hip-ups, dog.
But yeah, no. Like you said, in their prime, that would have been a dream match.
I mean, it still is a dream match. I'm so excited. That's my most anticipated match of the year. The only thing I would be more excited for is probably one more Kenny and Okada.
More Kenny and Okada?
I love it every time.
I mean, it's good, but I think I'm going to enjoy this, not to just, get away from WWE, but I'm going to love that Naito and Okada match. I think that's going to be...
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait for Wrestle Kingdom.
See, Wrestle Kingdom, I'm subscribed to the WWE Network right now. I am, this close to contemplating to switch my subscription to New Japan so I can watch that Wrestle Kingdom match. It's just...
I mean, those two matches alone are better than any pay-per-view that the WWE is going to put on all year.
Yeah, and that's what's sad. And we'll talk about pay-per-views. Speaking of pay-per-views, we'll talk about that a little bit later on the show. But you're right. no pay-per-view, whether it's backlash, or more backlash, it's not going to compete with any of these Wrestle Kingdoms or anything that New Japan puts out. I mean, the G1 Climax, great. Even this United States when it was on Centric Television, like the free television. I can't even remember what the channel is.
I don't know, like the All Access.
Yeah, All Access. There you go.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, it's gonna be awesome. Who's not excited for those two matches? If you are a wrestling fan, a hardcore wrestling fan, which you're not watching this unless you are really. I mean, who's finding this? No offense to us, but who's finding this if you're not? This Wrestle Kingdom is going to be. It's going to be great, and it's going to absolutely shit all over WrestleMania.
Yeah, and just for the mere fact that WrestleMania is like a 12-hour experience.
Yeah, nobody needs that.
We might be live streaming it.
We might be, guys. You gotta bear with us. We have a lot of busy schedules, but we're hopefully going to try and live stream our reactions to Survivor Series.
If we are alive from WrestleMania, if we do it, if we're alive, we'll let you know how the show goes.
From WrestleMania?
Yeah. I mean, down the line.
I think I'll die during the course of that. That's too long.
I mean, we'll probably have Kenny Omega in the background anyway. But neither fact, that's neither here nor there. We now have the official Jericho versus Omega match. Jericho not telling WWE. There might be some animosity there. There might be some heat. But we'll find out later down the line what is the true story. You ready to move on? All right, let's do it, man. All right. So we also have a interesting thing from PW Insider saying that Paige could return tonight on SmackDown. We haven't read any of the spoilers yet except for one, but we'll talk about it later on the show. So, Paige returning. What do you think? Good move, bad move? Should they have fired her?
I don't really care. Is that rude? I don't really care. She can go.
She can go?
I mean, she's better than a lot of them, but I don't care too much.
No.
What, are you excited for her to come back?
One thing I'm interested to see is how WWE is going to handle her in terms of, she's done all the shit with Alberto Del Rio. Issues have flown in about left and right about domestic abuse and all that stuff with Alberto. I want to see, and also just about her failing like 2 drug tests already. And not 2 drug tests, but 2 wellness policies.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah.
And what goes on. I mean, it'll be crazy to me, honestly, what happens. Like, well, because the only reason I feel like WWE even kept her is because The Rock was making a movie about her family.
Yeah.
So if you keep her because of the family, I want to see how they're going to treat her. They're going to drop her out, so eventually that she just quits. Or WWE should just honestly cut her as soon as the movie's done. Just cut her, because she's been a problem child, honestly, for them. Not really been like a team player for them. It's just been she honestly felt like it was trying to get herself fired from the WWE.
Yeah, lots of issues. I mean, it's already, I don't want to say it's crowded, but where is she going to fit into their current storylines?
Maybe not current storylines, but I think she would fit in because the divisions are small, especially because you separated them. I think more bodies on the roster would be good.
Yeah, I agree.
Still don't know why they cut Emma, but that's a different story. All right, guys, we're back here after a great little clap there from us.
That was our best clap ever.
So, we're talking about news again in WWE, going back to them. So, according to Wrestling Observer, I think that's Dave Meltzer, so, take it with a grain of salt. WWE is thinking about, or they're going to, scale back their pay-per-views in 2018, and will likely not run a 2 per month very often like they did this year. This is probably the best news, WWE news-wise, we've heard in a long time.
I agree. I think it's a great idea. The 2 pay-per-views a month is so stupid. They can't even write a storyline to save their lives, let alone 2, you have 1 month to write 2 pay-per-views worth of storylines.
Right.
They can't do that. They're not capable of it. Just then, this way, if they even did it 1 month, Raw, next month, SmackDown, next month, Raw, next month, SmackDown. Gives time for these rivalries and feuds to build up, and then you get better storytelling. And I don't know why they weren't doing that this year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they remembered last year, their pay-per-view numbers were terrible, and they still are terrible because you saturated the market with too many of them. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's kind of sad because we should remember these pay-per-views, but we keep having this running joke of every pay-per-view is a backlash.
All backlash because we don't remember which one is which because there's about 35 different names to remember.
Yeah,
pay-per-views.
They need to bring some back. They need to cut some of them out, but they also need to make sure that they're not saturating the market to where I get fed up of watching WWE and it makes it feel like a chore because we're doing it as a review rather than just oh wow this was great. I could point to A, B, and C of why this show was an awesome show.
Yeah.
Hopefully, like you said, it builds up storylines better. Everything is cohesive. There's no more 50-50 booking because of it. 1 week you're building up Finn Balor, next week you're building up fucking Kane. I hope that doesn't happen. It shouldn't happen.
Nobody wants Kane. Nobody wants these old dudes. Give time for the young guys to develop. We don't have Pete Dunne coming out to, struggle against Enzo Amore.
That was a gripe I had last night, and I said on our Raw review.
This guy is supposed to be one of your next big things, and rightfully so. He is a great in-ring and mic performer. But he's struggling to beat Enzo Amore, and he needs a Kalisto interference to win? Take your time and think this stuff out better. Not throw him in there and get introduced by Kurt Angle. Let it build naturally, not stupid garbage.
Yeah. Basically, the show's just been lackluster, and I like how we just got off the topic of the pay-per-view thing.
Yeah, we'll get back to it. Sorry.
No, I mean, it was my fault because I was talking about Kane.
Yeah, I guess.
Kane annoys everybody. But, this is going to be good news for the WWE. There's no more of this 2 per month pay-per-view. Storylines will be better. Hopefully, the go-home shows will be a lot better than they've been before, and it's not treated as the... I would say now the go-home show is treated as the week before the go-home show, and that the pay-per-view is now treated as the go-home show. At least that's how it feels in my book, or my opinion of watching it so far.
That's how it's felt. Nothing feels important on their weekly shows.
Yeah.
None of it feels like it's going to matter the next week. It all feels like this week is this, and then this week is that, and then we get a pay-per-view that doesn't matter either. None of it matters.
Exactly.
Which really, it doesn't. We know that. But it used to, for a long time, felt like each match mattered for these main guys. Now it doesn't.
Now it's just more 50-50 booking, no more protecting the champions like we talked about earlier with The Miz, for example. And, we're just going to have to see where it goes on from there. But good news afoot for WWE in terms of they're scaling down their pay-per-views, so it'll help the fans tremendously.
Yeah, you don't have 30 hours of WWE content to watch each week.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous how oversaturated it is. You can't have 3 full-length shows and a pay-per-view in 1 week. 4 if you count NXT.
Yeah.
I was just considering 205 Live. You have 4 shows that you expect people to watch to keep up on all your storylines, and 2 times a month, a 5 to 6 hour pay-per-view, and then WrestleMania is 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Not possible. No human being has that much time.
Exactly. And with that, we're just going to move on right to a topic of Raw, actually, and that was what happened last night, a tape-delayed show, of course, in Manchester, England. New Day versus The Shield is apparently going to be rumored as a match after the New Day interfered with Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. And I believe and I assume, reading from the Twitter, listening to it from Raw, Roman Reigns is going to be coming back next week to be in this feud.
I am so excited. This is the most excited I've been for anything with Roman Reigns in it in ever. Because, you know my answer why I'm so excited, Bernie? Can you tell everybody why I'm so excited?
Because you're a New Day mark?
You're right. The New Day is the best. They say it every week. New Day rules. New Day rocks. Whatever you want to say. They're the best.
Yeah, I mean...
And imagine them in the Shield going at it. That's incredible. Sorry, I got a little excited for a second.
Yeah, I think you're overhyping it, honestly.
It's not going to be as good as I hope it is, but I am very excited for it.
I'm only annoyed because last night on Raw, when Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose came out. They came out to the Shield music, aka the Roman Reigns music, because it's more Roman Reigns music.
Mm-hmm.
And it just annoyed me because, of course, they had to keep Roman in it. Roman wasn't going to be off the show. And it leads us to another topic maybe we'll talk about a little bit later with Jason Jordan now being the final member of the Raw Survivor Series team. I would have much rather preferred Roman Reigns to be on the Survivor Series team. Honestly.
No. Because he would have taken them all on by himself, the way WWE books it. He would have done the, Roman Reigns is the last guy. He gets beaten up right at the beginning.
Well, do you want them to bury your New Day? They're going to do that if Roman Reigns is on the team.
I don't think so.
I think so.
I don't think so. I'm being dead serious. I think the New Day is going to win.
I don't think so at all. I mean, if they are going to win, it's because Dean Ambrose is maybe going to turn heel on those two. But that's the only way I see it. I just think it's not feasible for Roman Reigns to lose, especially when he's been off TV for so long. They want to reestablish that Roman Reigns the top guy.
Yeah.
So they'll probably make him win anyway.
Even then, if they just let the New Day do their thing, like the regular New Day style of match, which they're just being funny. Sorry, I'm messing with my coat, guys. I'm excited for it. I just love the New Day. And think of some of the greatest moments for the Shield. They're a great tag team in their own right. So you have two great 3-man tag teams that work together a lot going at it. I'm excited for it.
I just didn't like the build of it. It's just kind of lame,
there
lazy.
really is no build for it. That's the problem. You could have built it better.
Yeah, you could have built it better as who's the best 3-man tag team in all of WWE history.
Yeah, the New Day keeps interfering with them on their Raw and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's just lazy booking. I think it's just last minute changes again because in my heart to heart opinion, I don't think Jason Jordan was supposed to be, or they weren't thinking about putting him on the team for the Survivor Series. But they put him on the team. That's the way it is. And now, the Shield versus the New Day. It's going to be a match. Am I excited for it? Only because I do like the old school mentality of face versus heel, and that Usos versus Seth and Dean was going to be the only face versus heel match now. Mm-hmm. If we think about it now, all the matches are now heel versus heel. Alexa Bliss, Natalya, Jinder and Brock. Who else is there? Now the Usos and the Bar.
Yeah, well, the 5-on-5 though. I think the Raw team is kind of being booked as the face in that match.
Well, in the Survivor Series team, but I'm talking about just the champions matches. Because you always want, this face and heel dynamic, I think. At least in some aspects you do, because it's kind of boring if it's just a face versus face. If nothing happens at the end.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what all the champion versus champion is. It kind of always weirdly matches up where most of the time, at a given moment when they have, Night of Champions...
Right.
It always ends up matching up where, at that moment, the heels are both in the championship spot or both the faces are champions at that time. They never do, cross-promotion heel versus face championship matches, really. Mm-hmm. It doesn't happen very often. I would like to see it, but, I guess we'll get into what I was about to say in a little bit. It'll change possibly one of those matches you just said.
Okay.
Spoiler territory.
All right. Should we move on?
Yeah, what do we got next?
Well, I guess, we could talk a little bit more about Jason Jordan. What do you think of it? Of him being added as a member of Team Raw? The dude gets zero reaction every week he comes out. That's probably that's a death sentence.
I think it's interesting that he's in this weird feud with Elias Sampson, and then now he's a member of this big team thing. Mm-hmm. I wonder if they're going to try and give him, the Dolph Ziggler treatment. Where, remember when Dolph Ziggler was on the Survivor Series team, and he was, the last guy, and then he beat all 3 of those dudes?
Yeah, that was the help of Cena, though.
He did kind of, solo 3 dudes on his own, That was a major moment, come from behind underdog thing. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be too surprised to see them, try and push Jason Jordan that way. Honestly.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I'm just not a huge fan of Jason. He's a good wrestler, and many of these guys in the back, they are good wrestlers. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. But he just doesn't have the charisma, and he sucks the charisma out of everybody. Mm-hmm. It literally, last night, watching it, as soon as he picked up the guitar on his Guitar in a Pole match, the crowd was booing him because they liked Elias so much.
Yeah.
And it just shows you that he gets no reaction at all. Even when he's doing stuff that, should have a babyface reaction, there's no babyface reaction. It's just simple go. It's like basically you want to get a reaction from a crowd, no matter if it's positive or negative.
Yeah.
The thing is, if you get no reaction, though,
that's bad.
That's like death sentence. That's a death to your character.
And then there's Roman Reigns' level of heat, which is not the good kind either.
Exactly.
But definitely, people would rather go and see somebody get Roman Reigns style heat than no reaction. That's just boring,
Yeah.
Let's talk about the rest of the team, though. There was a couple more announcements for the Team Raw team.
Yeah. We got Finn Balor and Samoa Joe now on the team officially.
Great shout. Adds a little bit of a rivalry on the team to it, which I think they're going to try and push Samoa Joe versus Finn Balor. I think just based on Raw last night, that's going to be the next feud for both of those guys, which is good for both of them, honestly. It's great. They're going to produce great matches. And you're going to have to see Finn Balor bring out a lot more than he did against Bray Wyatt. And I think Samoa Joe is just incredible. He's awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's good for both of them. I'm excited for that feud.
I mean, we'll see, man. I'm just kind of a little bit kerfuffled, but...
Kerfuffled about what?
I mean, just the Survivor Series team in general. I mean, it's going to be a good match no matter what, because there are intriguing matchups between both brands, and both brands have different characters coming in, with Nakamura, in the interactions with those other guys, AJ with those other guys. It's just, I feel like Jason Jordan just feels out of place.
Mm-hmm.
He's like that kid that's like your friend's like little brother that you have to bring him around everywhere.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. I feel like
funny.
that's Jason Jordan in a nutshell.
That's pretty funny. Maybe he's like the guy that they just eliminate right off the bat, though.
I don't think so. I think maybe he might get that Roman Reigns thing where he just like completely suplexes everybody.
He gets a push like I said, he could get that Dolph Ziggler style push. The underdog comes back and beats everybody.
Yeah. Oh man, are we ready to move on?
Let's move on.
All right. Should we talk about the spoiler alert?
Let's get into it. Major spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
I mean, actually, it's not really spoiler alert because when this comes out, it's not going to be a spoiler.
Yeah, but to North America, it's a spoiler alert because the show doesn't air for like another couple hours.
Is this going to come out before that, though?
I'll make it around that time.
All right. Spoiler alert. Possibly, if you haven't seen it already. We have a new WWE Champion of the World. AJ Styles.
Yes. So like my co-host said, AJ Styles is now officially the champ of SmackDown. Of course, we haven't watched it yet. It's on tape delay, so it'll be on at some point tonight in a couple hours, of course. Basically, this presents a different match than what we're getting. This is twice now, 2 nights now. Monday Night Raw had their title change with the tag teams.
Yep.
SmackDown had their title change with, with SmackDown, of course, with the WWE Heavyweight Championship. I think it's just the WWE Championship now. But nevertheless, it switched hands. Now it's going to be AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar. AJ Styles, a worthy champion, of course.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, are they just doing this because they don't want Jinder to take that pin?
Against Brock?
Against Brock. Because he's been hurt. There's rumors that he's been hurt because he's been wrestling with the kinesiology tape.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of rumors about his shoulder being hurt. But at the same time,
I'd be interested. I don't know if that's the case, though. Because I feel like at this point, losing to AJ Styles makes you look weaker than losing to Brock Lesnar. And not that AJ Styles is not he's a bad person to lose to.
Mm-hmm.
But losing to AJ Styles, who just lost to Baron Corbin clean, is worse for like a uber champion than losing to Brock Lesnar would be. I honestly think that this is the death notes or death throes of Jinder Mahal's WWE Championship run. I don't think he's getting it back. I know that there's other rumors out there of the John Cena Jinder. I don't think it's happening.
Well, it's crazy to me because I think after this they go to New Delhi and he's supposed to battle for the WWE Championship against Kevin Owens. So, reading that, I'm thinking that he's going to get his rematch, not maybe after Survivor Series, at some point he's going to get a rematch against AJ Styles and get that championship back and then carry it on until John Cena's like, hey, I want my 17th title reign.
Yeah, I mean, that begs the next question, who's going to fight Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series? Because then it's not a champion versus champion match. Are they just going to make it AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar? They should. It's a much better match.
Yeah.
Way more people are tuning in for that.
Yeah, but my problem is that I don't think they'll ever put AJ's offense over on Brock because he is a smaller dude compared to Brock, and I'm sure Brock Lesnar will no-sell the shit out of him. And then they'll basically just suplex, feed another person for the Brock Lesnar to get fat and glutton so that Roman Reigns can come in and devour that feast.
Right. Well, here, what about let me throw something your way, right?
Okay.
There's been lots of rumors of Finn Balor, Brock Lesnar. What if they let AJ Styles, who's a smaller dude compared to Brock Lesnar, go up against him, and he actually puts on a good showing, and he almost wins. Finn Balor just beat AJ Styles, which sets him in the position where if he did have a good showing and actually beat Brock Lesnar, it wouldn't be that crazy by a storytelling perspective. Because if AJ did a good showing and he beat AJ, then it makes sense why he could perform well against Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, but then we got to remember the Kane thing, which
losing to Kane,
is not good, and it definitely doesn't help your character at all. I don't know, man. I'm just in the mindset of this is just a lose-lose because basically you job out one of your best talents that you've ever had in the WWE, like since a long time, since Shawn Michaels and those guys.
Yeah.
And now you're getting to this position where you basically have your best wrestler, your best performer taking a fall because your champion that you have, the fake champion,
the fake champ,
the failure Raja, is you're just protecting him from taking a pin from Brock Lesnar because there's no way that a jobber like Jinder could ever get to a point where he's at now.
Yeah. I think what this boils down to is you're a WWE booking pessimist, and I think I err on the side of optimism. I think you're more of a realist than I am. I have hopes for the WWE that they are seeing what's actually going on. People don't like Jinder. Nobody likes Jinder. If anybody does, it's a very small minority of people who do. So maybe they're just going to go back on it, which would be very silly considering the timing of where they're about to go. Mm-hmm. But who knows? Maybe that having him be the chaser in India would be more beneficial for them than him just being the champion and being an asshole, like a heel,
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's the only reason why I am a pessimist or just a realist and just look at things for the way they are is because WWE has shown that they've done it before. They've been this petty. They've done stupid booking decisions. They've done everything to the point where you just can't believe WWE and anything that they say or do because in any instance, anything could change. And then you just get annoyed because the things that the fans want, because Vince himself said, we listen to the fans. We give them what they want.
Yeah.
But at times, it doesn't feel that way at all because what fan is clamoring for Roman Reigns to be at WrestleMania 4 goddamn times?
Well, it's not confirmed at this point, so maybe they changed their minds. Maybe they really do decide that they want Roman full-time back in the Shield. It's not that crazy to think that. Because he really is going to get a lot more cheers for him as part of the Shield than he ever will on his own.
But if you're going to put him back again by himself, he's going to get booed again. It's not like it's one of those things that you can hide it for as long as you can, but as soon as he's by himself again, they're going to boo.
Yeah.
And it's not the reaction that you want. I understand that Vince says that there's no more face and heels anymore. It's that gimmick where they don't, or you like who you like and you cheer for who you cheer. Mm-hmm. But you want him to be in this position like a Hulk Hogan, like a John Cena, like an Ultimate Warrior at one point. You want him in that role, but he's never going to be in that role. And I think they don't realize that The Rock also had this kind of role as well. Happy-go-lucky babyface, but as soon as you made him heel, as soon as you gave him personality, well, he had his own personality, but as soon as you let him be heel and let him cut his own promos and let him be himself, a lot better.
Yeah.
But,
we'll see what happens, man. I feel like people were speculating this AJ Styles title change before this actually did happen. Yeah. But I think a lot of people were discrediting it as it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It did happen. So maybe it is a sign that they are kind of taking a step back from the whole gender thing. And maybe the fact that Roman Reigns isn't on the Survivor Series 5-man team is a sign that they're taking a step back from the Roman Reigns being the god among men that he has been booked to be. Because why wouldn't he be in the 5-on-5 match if he really was the man, Because being in a 3-on-3 tag team match with the New Day is not representative of the top star of the WWE. Mind you, the New Day is incredibly popular, but he should be on the 5-on-5. That's the main event match.
But I think we just go back to that point that they wanted to be a face, or at least get cheered. So the only way to do that really is by reuniting him with his brothers in the Shield.
His brothers.
There's no, you could turn him heel and the crowd will love it and they'll cheer for it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the way you want him to be booked and not the way you want him to be portrayed.
Yeah.
So basically you're in a situation where, okay, we need to get this fake reaction to get cheers so that when we make video promo packages of him versus Brock Lesnar with, Roman Reigns as the babyface, we want cheers.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about it. I mean, it may be negative, it may be, harsh, but this is the truth. I mean, they've shown it for 4 or 5 years now that they want Roman to be the top guy, and that's just the way it is. We can be angry about it, but people shouldn't be defending it and saying, oh, you're just making shit up, or you're thinking way too far in advance when we've seen it before. We've seen this story written 1,000 times.
Yeah.
It just sucks.
I agree, man. I agree. But, like I said, I have faith. Hopefully, Triple H is starting to... I want him to start throwing his weight around and making decisions for himself on the main roster side. And I hope he does. Because Vince McMahon cannot be trusted.
No, he needs to retire. Hand the keys over.
Life. Oh God. I wasn't being serious, guys. That's rude.
All right. Anyway, guys, after that, we will holler at you guys later. Thanks again for stopping by at the Fusion Corp channel with wrestling news and rumors from across the world, WWE, New Japan, ROH, whatever it is, we got you guys covered. Anyway, guys, see ya.